This is what happens when hipsters play God. Albeit they create a pretty fine fuck up.
So it's
only
good.
you would say that. Yeah. Something that started out as a cross between a naked rabbit and a kangaroo, and then later you want to fuck it.
Oh, come on, man. Let's be realistic here. Anything that's even maybe has the tiniest feminine characteristics that's in a dude's house with him alone long enough, he's going to fuck it. He's going to go, well, there's nobody around. I mean, what's it really going to hurt if I fuck it?
Exactly. Don't ask Corey about his tails with a vacuum cleaner. Right?
Yeah, I don't need an animal.
Don't loop me in. Don't link me with that.
Don't need to create anything.
Look, there's a hole. I got to fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have appliances in the house. I'm surprised I haven't electrocuted myself yet.
Can you imagine?
A box of donuts here.
Hey, man, if that vacuum cleaner had tits and was coming up to you, rubbing all up on you and stuff, you'd fuck it, too.
That vacuum cleaner was begging for it.
You see when it was looking at me? I got a drink and everything.
It's kind of scary now. Corey's got this like hot Japanese anime girl painted on it.
But hey, at least Corey didn't have to clean himself afterwards.
Oh, that's true.
Self-cleaning.
Hey, and are you sure those guys were hipsters? Because it looked like they went and raided a Hot Topics store because they bought every single goddamn toy in that place.
Well, I don't know about toy, but Adrian Brody brought every T-shirt in that place. Yeah. I mean, I gotta give it to him. As hipsters go, he had a cool collection of T-shirts.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were the only scientists that I knew that still dressed like mall kids. Like, of course they messed up.
You have to appreciate how him and his brother both had those very tailored ratty haircuts.
Yeah.
Well, that's a scientist thing, man. They're pretty hip. You gotta wait.
I thought they were just trying to live like a Marilyn Manson like lyric or something.
Yeah,
Well,
hip to be square.
it's funny because him and his brother look like Adam Sandler and Little Nicky.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which that's sad that that's hip now.
Yeah, it's come full circle, man.
Wow, is that where that came from?
The origin of that messed up emo haircut. Nah, this is the classic tale of when scientists try to play God and they go off. And here we have Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley, who they're a couple also, and they on the verge of this of this great experiment of like creating DNA
to create new life forms.
That's what I was saying. Crossing DNA to create new life forms. Therefore, a big corporation that they work for will be able to patent all this stuff, and somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, they'll come up with medical breakthroughs. It already works on cattle, but they're like, yeah, but we can use some human DNA. We can start curing human diseases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
So what could go wrong?
Keep your erections harder and longer.
I was
like
about to
that.
say, they'll create something that'll make more commercials at night. Will tell you, if you use this, you'll be bleeding from the ass, the eyes, the nose. You'll all of a sudden change sex.
Yeah, complications may happen if you breathe.
Grow wings, maybe a tail.
And gills.
Side effects include
diarrhea, and more diarrhea.
But it will make my dick bigger, right? Sign me up.
I'll take it.
As long as the diarrhea doesn't come while my dick is bigger, it sounds like we have a deal.
Hey, as long as diarrhea doesn't come out of my penis, I'll be fine.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Of course, the unethical part of this experiment comes from the fact that they are using human DNA and crossing it with animal DNA. And in effect, they create this chimera-type being, which at first starts out, well, let's just admit it. It looks like a cross between a baby and a dick.
It does.
Well, there's a lot of dick-looking creatures in this.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
No, that's one of my main things about this movie, which I don't know if it's sometimes it's a complaint, and sometimes it's praise for this film. But yeah, they keep it as a pet. I mean, they know Adrian Brody's the one at first who's like, this is wrong, this is going against. I mean, we can go to jail. Pretty much.
She's like, but I love little baby dickhead.
Yeah, it was Sarah Polley who at first is like so against having children. She becomes immediately attached to this thing. This thing imprints on her, and they just treat it like. Well, they start to treat it like a pet. Sarah Polley starts to treat it like a daughter. Yeah. And as it grows up, it's no longer looks like just a skinless or a hairless gerbil. It starts to resemble a child, albeit a deformed child, but they put in a dress, and it starts to learn very quickly. I mean, with a human intelligence. And
she turns into Bjork. I thought this was the story of Bjork when I was watching this film. I was like, this makes perfect sense.
I know it sounds like Bjork.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my God, I was tricked into seeing a movie about Bjork. They didn't have to trick me.
I would say that
I would have paid big time money for that.
This creature was a little bit more on key than Bjork is.
Hey!
Hey, you hold your tongue there.
I know.
I'm going to donate your body to science
I
after
like
that.
music like everybody else, but the bitch cannot sing on cue.
No, I like the remix of New York stuff. Or hearing this creature sing. But
Everyone's a critic.
I swear.
no, I like Bjork. I would rather listen.
It's over, Corey. Get out.
All right.
But this, as this thing grows, it starts to like create tension between Sarah Polley and Adrian Brody because they both start to form their own attachment to it. But this creature starts to make its own attachment to each one of them, and at some point, you can already tell that it's going to turn bad for both of them.
Well, it's the kind of situation that starts out where you go, nothing good will come from this.
No, of course not. Well, everyone is telling them nothing good will come from this idea. So it's like it's a dick-headed creature with lots of dick moves going on. The reactions that both that they're having are so classically and obviously Freudian. I mean, it's like the basic. You take Psychology 101, you will go over this, and you could trace the plot of the movie by the stages that kids go and the way they feel about their parents. Except kids don't usually have like wings and giant claws and venom sacs and shit, so it doesn't turn quite this ugly.
Oh, I don't know, man. I know a lot of kids who have those venom sacs and fangs too. To me, with all the dickhead imagery and the so much about human psychology and creatures and gene splicing, it just felt like a love letter to David Cronenberg. It reminded me so much of the movies he used to make, and that's probably why even when at times this movie went too far, got kind of silly, it's kept winning me back because I was kind of in love with it. And this movie is kind of like a splice in itself because you look at it, oh, it's a horror movie. No, wait, it's a character study. No, wait, it's a thriller. And it's like, all right, well, I'm with it. And then it's like, no, this is back to being a horror movie again.
It all works in cycles, and it all works together at some point. I mean, when it does, and sometimes it doesn't, because a lot of it you're just going to have to, it depends on how much you want to suspend your disbelief, because it makes sense at first, and there's tension in that they have to hide this creature, and you know that as it grows, it's going to be harder to hide it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic, almost like the E.T. thing. We have this creature, we got to hide it from everybody else, except there's more dire circumstances here. And there's a point, though, where, well, let's just face it, this thing becomes sort of fine. It looks pretty. It has no.
I'm sorry.
It has a hole.
I just can't go with you there.
No, here's what I'm saying is silly, because as far as movie monsters go, it's still a creature. It has somewhat of a pretty face if you just can skip that penis hole that's going on.
Well, you have to take out of context the plot of the movie and imagine that you're watching a different movie where it's like a member of an alien race.
Sure.
Right? And it's like, what's the problem? You don't want to fuck? Come on, what are you, prejudiced? And you'd be like, yeah, all right, yeah, I fuck her, yeah. You would.
The only problem...
Totally would nail that.
The only problem is that it almost borderlines on incestuous with this movie.
In this particular case,
in this particular movie, it really does, because the whole time you're like, dude, you like helped give birth to this thing, now you're
I'm just agreeing with Corey that it's fine.
Woody Allen might look at this and go and say, I don't see what the problem is. But I see a big problem.
I was about to say, honestly, I was thinking, man, what is this, like Woody Allen's first science fiction fucking
I would love to
script
love
he's
to
ever
see
written?
this with Woody Allen instead of Adrian Brody. But we're coming on to him and he's like, well, I don't think that would,
I don't see a problem with this. Soon, she's the one of my own, and I don't know what happened.